Yeah, this is Sanidaya for Glade Green Energy. It is no longer news that solar panels and solar materials are very scarce in the market at the moment. And if you're somebody who wants to upgrade your PV array, how do you go about it when Jinko and all the likes are no longer in stock? How do you go about this? How do you go about panels that are mismatched? How do you go about adding more PV array without necessarily getting a new solar charge controller? Well, you're in luck because Glade Green Energy got you. Sit back, relax, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Okay, so sometimes ago, I started my solar journey with one single panel, one single ZN Shine solar panel. So let me put it on the screen now, what this thing looks like, the panel parameters look like. Okay, this is it. So what we need to look out for here is the voltage at Pmax and the current at Pmax. As you can see from what we have here, we have a maximum power voltage as 43.2 volts. This is it. Voltage is equal to 43.2 volts. Now we have our current. We have our current here as 13.66 amps. 13.66 amps. Now, if you are in the solar community, you will know that ZN Shine solar panels are no longer in the market as at the time we are making this recording. And I needed to have more power to my generation. What do I need to do? Then I went and searched and I looked for a panel that is very close, relatively close to my panel parameters. Not necessarily the same brand, not necessarily the same wattage, but very similar, current and voltage. So I went for Jinko 535 solar panel. This is the parameter for the Jinko solar panel. So we have, for our Jinko, remember this is ZN Shine. For our Jinko, we have our voltage at Pmax, that's VMP, as 40.81. Voltage equal to 40.81 volts. And then we have our current. We have our current as 13.11 amps. Now, we can see here from this, we can see that these are mismatched panels. One is a ZN Shine 590 watts. The Jinko is a 535 watts panel. Now, how did I go about merging these two panels together? So many people will tell you that you cannot have panels that are not the same wattage, and you cannot also add panels that are not the same brand and the same age and yada 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 yada, all of that. But if you do not experiment, you do not get to know what exactly you are capable of doing. So I experimented and did a series connection on this. But before we go into the experimentation and what you would get, let us do a simple theoretical calculation of what we can obtain from these panels, assuming they are on standard test conditions. Keep it locked down. Now, stop. Remember, one is a 590 watt panel plus 535. In actual reality, what are we supposed to get if we had 590 by 535? So 590 plus 535 will give us 1125 watts. So in actual reality, we are supposed to get 1125 watts from the combination of these two panels. Now, let us now do the pure theoretical calculation. Remember, voltage multiplied by current is what gives us power, which gives us our wattage. Now, let us do this simple calculation. Remember, I said it's a series connection. In a series connection, the current remains constant and the voltage is added up. Now, what is the current here? What is the voltage here? We have 40.81 plus 43.2 volts. 40 point 40.81 plus 43.2 volts will give us a total of 84.01. 84.01 volt. And then physics 101, the connection will take the lowest current of the two. Which one has the lowest current? We have the 535 watts having the lowest current, which is 13.1. So we'll now multiply this by the current, which is 13.11 amps. Now, if you multiply this by 13.11 amps, we are going to get 1101.3 watts. So remember, when we did the calculation for the two, the 535 watts plus the 590 watts, we had a total of 1125 watts. Now, we are not getting the full capacity for this solar panel, right? We have, it's supposed to be 1125 from the array, but we are getting 1101.3. Now, what is the efficiency loss? Let's calculate the efficiency loss. That is the actual power we have calculated here divided by the total number is supposed to be 1125 watts multiplied by 100%. We have a total of 97.8% efficiency. That's 97.8% efficiency. Now, we are very close. We are very close to the actual power we are supposed to get, but we are not getting the full capacity. But hey, 3% 3% of the total wattage is a negligible one. Why? Because I have gotten something very close to the actual power. In hindsight, even if you have this same connection, like the same wattage, the same panels, the same everything, you can never ever get this 1125 because this condition you are going to be using your solar panels in is not in the standard what test conditions. So with this array, I was able to get at max, if there is enough sunlight in my area, I was able to get around 805 watts. 805 watts from a possible 1101, 1101, 1101.3 divided by 805 watts. Sorry, 805 divided by 1101. My solar panel is still working, my PV array is still working at a whooping 73% efficiency. 73% of the total power I am supposed to get is what I have gotten. Why is it so? It is simply so because we did a series connection. For a parallel connection, it will also be so. Why? Because it will take the lowest voltage for parallel and the current remains, the current remains, is added up and voltage remains constant. So it will pick the lowest voltage for parallel configurations. And if you watch these two panels, both the voltages and the current are very close. So if you're asking the full question, can I mix panels? Yes, only when the parameters, that is the voltage, that's the current at Pmax, that's IMP, and the voltage at PMax, VMP, are very closely related. But for series connections, you will deal more on the closeness of the current rather than the closeness of the voltage, because the voltage will be added up, the voltages will be added up, and the current will choose his least current. So if we have 13.11 and 13.66, it is not even up to 1 amp. The current difference is not even up to 1 amp. That's, I think, about 0.55 amps. So it is very, very negligible. So my brothers and sisters, if anybody tells you you can't hard, tell them you can hard, but with a little bit of calculation. Thank you again for having us here. Grave Green Energy got you. Arrivederci.